Well, it's been 4 days since wildfires forced hundreds of people to leave their homes in Manitoba's Cranberry Portage. Provincial and federal help is on the way, but evacuees are already struggling to pay for accommodations. Officials say it takes time for money to flow. CBC's Cameron McIntosh is in Winnipeg, where the Minister of Emergency Preparedness spoke earlier with reporters. Cameron, what did the minister have to say about federal support for the province?
So Harjit Sajjan didn't come here with money for evacuees. He came here with money for equipment, basically. Evacuees right now are dealing with the province's disaster financial assistance program with some optimism that they may be going home soon. So as for the federal emergency preparedness minister, Harjit Sajjan came in here with a promise of $19.2 million. The province of Manitoba says it's going to match that. So what this was basically an announcement of $38 million for equipment. So things like trucks, pumps, hoses, avionics for aircraft, all that sort of stuff. Critical firefighting equipment, basically getting more of it on the ground now. This money is going to be doled out over the course of the next 4 years. So it basically breaks down to $9 million a year. When you're talking about heavy equipment like that, that's not a lot of money up front. You can see how that will get spent pretty quickly. Still, the federal minister saying that this is the type of investment they want to make across the country. Here now is more from Harjit Sajjan.
This agreement between Manitoba and the federal government strengthens the province's capacities and capabilities in fire management. And I'm pleased to say that that Manitoba has matched this investment for over $38 million toward the purchasing of wildland firefighting equipment. Not only will this fund increase the available equipment and personnel until 2027, but it also supports communities, local wildland firefighting, and increases national exchange efforts.
So this comes from a larger national pool of about $200 million, money the federal government has set aside in anticipation of a long fire season coast to coast.
Yeah, it's definitely an investment in equipment that is needed, but I can see why people might be disappointed as well. Cameron, as for the Cranberry Portage fire, any word on when residents might be able to return home?
Well, in the best case scenario, they'll be going back home this weekend. So Cranberry Portage, this is the large fire that's south of Flin Flon. It's up to 36,000 hectares now, so a little more than 360 square kilometers. That's a little bit bigger than it was even yesterday. But the wildfire service here isn't too concerned about that growth. It's happening in non-populated areas where there isn't a lot of infrastructure to be damaged. What they're optimistic about is they are holding the line at Cranberry Portage. They're getting a grip on the fire there. We've had reinforcements come in from Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick will be arriving this weekend. There have also been some fire resources that have come in from Saskatchewan. So all that is really being concentrated on the fire line in that community. Over the course of the last couple of days, internet service, cellular service, and hydro service have all been restored in Cranberry Portage. So right now officials are saying the community is safe to return to. They haven't lost any buildings in that community. As long as the fire doesn't flare up again abruptly, or as long as there isn't a big change in the wind or lightning in the area. There's rain in the forecast, just like the rain we're getting in Winnipeg here right now. That would be helpful. Temperatures are also cooling down. So a lot of optimism that those evacuees can get back sometime over the course of this weekend. All of them being told to hold on to their receipts as they deal with the provincial and municipal governments about compensation.
All right, let's hope so. Cameron, thanks so much for this. CBC's Cameron McIntosh in Winnipeg. So while the Manitoba government didn't cover expenses for the first days of the Cranberry Portage evacuation, the regional municipality stepped in to cover those bills for evacuees. Lori Forbes is the municipal emergency coordinator for the region. Lori, I want to ask you, you've been talking to people. What have they been telling you about how tough it's been to evacuate and paying their way as they're trying to get out of their homes?
Well, you can well imagine. First of all, you're under stress because you're just doing everything you can to get out of there because it was very stressful, very, very scary. Then to find out once you're evacuated that everyone is on their own for 72 hours. This is very stressful. We all know the price of hotels right now in Manitoba, especially after the pandemic. the price of hotels is really, really high. People have maxed out their credit cards. And, these are people as well that live paycheck to paycheck. It's great that, okay, we have a room for you in Swan River, which is 2 hours, 215 kilometers north of here, but they don't have gas money to get there. So we looked at these folks and went, okay, we need to get you safe. We need to get you in a place, a roof over your head and your family safe. And the RM assumed some responsibility for those funds at that point. And now we're just kind of sorting out that process now. Yeah.
Lori, I understand that you started a form for evacuees to submit their expenses for the first few days of the evacuation. So give us a sense, how does the expense coverage work for those evacuees in Manitoba?
Well, clearly we're still figuring out the details of that. It's a very simple form that they have to come pick up. Some people have asked to email or send that form via text or whatever, but actually they need to get, currently those forms are located at the registration center that's still set up at the Westgana, and then it's just a matter of putting the invoices and receipts in the envelope and then returning them back to us. So it's not like a registration process for sure, because we're going to then have to cross-reference all of those evacuee names to the people who have filled out the registration form with the province to receive funding that they're getting now after the 72 hours is up. So there's going to be a process for us to figure out the details of how we're going to get this money back, which is now we need the province to step up and create a disaster financial assistance program for this event to help municipalities, to help individuals, and to help organizations that have stepped up and helped the people of Manitoba to get through this financially.
Yeah, it really does feel like you're getting close to the people who really need the help. The province will cover after 72 hours, but as you mentioned, people are in trouble now. How do you feel about the municipality stepping in to help, but not the province?
We have an amazing group of people. Some decisions were made very fast. Without we need to help these people. You need to provide them some funding. I had the right people behind me to okay those decisions as I was asking. As it is, I work for Reeve Council. I can't make those decisions, but they were standing behind me in all of these decisions we did moving forward. In the fact that we understand this is very trying on your financial situation. So, grandmas have paid for families, aunties have paid for families. It is super expensive to look after yourself and your children and your situation for 72 hours, and you weren't prepared to do that.
And so, Lori, now that the municipality is paying for people's expenses for those first 72 hours, are you hoping to get money from the province to cover that? Is that how this is supposed to work? We're going to give you the money and then the province is going to give us the money?
Well, we're still working on that process. So we've done the paperwork we need to do to inform the province that yes, an event is happening. Yes, this event affected this many people. Yes, this was a mandatory evacuation based on their safety and lives. And now we need the province to create a disaster financial assistance program for individuals, organizations, and the municipality to help support us. It is really, the funds are great. The funds are great.
Well, and it's quite an undertaking. Lori, thank you so much for talking to us about this. That was Lori Forbes, Municipal Emergency Coordinator for the Rural Municipality of Kelsey. Thanks again.
Thank you.